football at its absolute best.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne.
I think I got my swagger back. Oh.
I love it, baby.
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Out of by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, November 26th. If you were like me, which I wasn't, unfortunately did not get to watch the game. I know. Maybe better for me, honestly, to kind of just close out the year just seeing W on the box score. But you get tuned in late to the radio, and you see that it's 7-7, and you immediately hit panic mode. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else lived that life, but that was my life Saturday. But hey, the vibes were high for a dub, and I want Landon's thought, but I need him to unmute himself first. He didn't hear me, I don't think. I need you to unmute yourself first before I go.
I'm in. Sorry, I was about to speak and then I couldn't find my mouse. I'm good. Yeah, I'm not ready for it to be over.
Okay.
I love Saturdays. I look forward to Saturdays. I know probably this season wasn't exactly what we had in mind. But from a tailgate standpoint, it was. And I had a great time. So
yeah.
I will miss being in Neyland, even if, I do find myself screaming and yelling and being disappointed at times in that place. But yeah, there's a lot of great memories, and I'm excited what the off season has to come. I'm excited for bowl season, and looking forward to next year.
Yeah, no, for sure. Real quick before we kind of move on, go Birds. Yeah, I am a little exhausted with this season, so I was kind of like, it's good to get towards the end. It really has nothing to do with the team, and like while I am like, I think I'm just like I was a little I'm not disappointed in the season and how it's ended up. I'm not excited. Like excited is not the right word either. I'm just a little underwhelmed. It just didn't carry the excitement that you want it to. And then it's, as we've experienced the last 15 years prior to last year, even a good season, but you lose to the big three that you've needed to beat based on your schedule, Georgia, Florida, Alabama. Like it's just like the season. It's like cooking like a chicken breast with nothing. Like you just pull it out of the package and throw it on the grill. Like it's not, you'll eat it, I guess, but it's not good.
Yeah.
So I don't
look back on the season and be like, what could have been if
right.
Like if you win that Florida game, is it a lot different?
Right.
Probably, maybe.
I think you at least from my perspective and with them, and it's not. So I said it to someone Saturday, and I think I've said it on the podcast. It's not necessarily losing Missouri. Missouri is a good football team this year. It's how you lost to Missouri. It's not what you said. It's how you said it. And so like with that loss, I'm still and with it coming towards the end of the season, I'm probably still a little underwhelmed. I'm probably feeling better going into the offseason with that one of those wins over like I just said, the big three. But yeah, I'm feeling better. Yeah. I don't know where I range in that. If I get all the way to pretty excited, but I feel good about the direction of the program and how it's moving. I think there needs to be a lot of fixes from the administrative standpoint. Like not everything's just players on the field, which is, I don't want to say a little concerning because I feel like concerning means I'm like putting something on red alert. But I think Josh Heupel and the rest of the, a few of the position coaches and maybe probably throw Joey Halsley, and that probably honestly they were both coordinators in that position that need to look in the mirror. Wasn't incredibly impressed in several games and several situations with the play calling, and the decisions, personnel or play decisions. But I mean, it's not, concern is not the right word for me. I just think it's going to take a lot of growth, looking in the mirror, saying what you recognize, you dropping the ego. And I'm not saying Heupel, I don't know Heupel. He doesn't seem to have a crazy ego, but saying what can we do better? Because this year, if this is the floor, if this is the basement for Tennessee, okay. You can be not excited, and that's fair. But if this can be the basement, okay. But yeah, I mean, you can't be content with this season, and I don't think Josh Heupel is.
Yeah, I definitely think that there is question marks heading into the offseason, heading into next season. And I do think the staff kind of has their work cut out for them to, get better, get some positions, more depth, more bodies, more quality bodies.
And I started to say all that, and I forgot to kind of round it out. I don't think all the fixes are related to the roster. Like, I don't think it's about just recruiting. Yes, that's a big component of it. Go get the guys. But I don't think that's the entire fix. Sorry, I forgot to kind of round that out. It is obviously a big, big piece.
Yeah, I mean, there was some things like with your offense that was kind of exploited. Like, you struggle running the football when there's odd fronts. 5-man front, 3-man front, just kind of loading the box with linebackers. I mean, Tennessee just struggled. I mean, they struggled in the first half against Vanderbilt running the football because they had a 3-man front. So, yeah, that's something that needs to be addressed in the offseason. I mean, you hope you kind of work on that during the season, but definitely the offseason is where you're able to, fine-tune those offensive schemes. And make sure that isn't what everybody's going to do to you, and you continue to struggle doing it.
Right. And I mean, one thing to remember, and I know Josh Heupel is, he's the guy when it comes to play calling, but as far as we know, Joey Halsley is calling plays. And I don't know what that dynamic's like. I don't know, but I mean, I think it is important. I don't know if there was maybe some trust that still needs to be gained as well. But it was his first year calling plays too. So, let's not assume like we just saw his best this year. So the corrections aren't impossible to fix. So yeah, I mean, I am encouraged again by the direction of the program. I do think there's some things that can be fixed. That includes roster depth, talent. Like there is a lot of that, but I think there's some coaching staff questions that need to get fixed too, as far as like how they operate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like I sound negative about the season, and I'm not trying to, because I think I'm more exhausted with our fan base, and I know this is a hungry fan base this isn't Ohio State fan base that is, and I'm worried if we do win a lot of games, like I don't want to get to that point, because I think there's a difference in like a really, really hungry fan base and an entitled fan base. But if you're always just really, really hungry, and then once you start winning games, it's very easy to become entitled when you can't put things into context and perspective. Because I think it's okay to be disappointed this season, but I think you should also recognize that you mentioned this on Locked On Vols. This is one of the better seasons since Philip Fulmer. That in 2016, very similar, but 2016 was much more of a letdown. You're in position to play in the Sugar Bowl, in a position to win the East, and you failed to do that at South Carolina and Vanderbilt. So one of your better seasons since Philip Fulmer's been the football coach here, and that was a long time ago. Yeah. So okay to be kind of disappointed in how things played out, but I don't think it's fair to be disappointed in the season in its entirety. Like, step back and look at the context of this program, because I think this program has the ability to be a premier program in college football because they have been. The resources are there. But the fact of the matter is, till you win big games consistently, you're not a premier program. As it stands today, November 26, 2023, you cannot say Tennessee is a premier program. Tennessee has the ability to be it. And they put that cornerstone there last year. And this season, I don't think takes away from it, but it doesn't build towards it either, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And the fact that we're talking about 8-4 and possibly a 9-4 season if you go win a bowl game. That it says a lot about your program that there is disappointment in that because you've hired expectations.
Absolutely. And I want the players and the coaching staffs to say and understand. Like I'm not saying they should necessarily feel that way, but like in their eyes, I want them to be like, yeah, this was disappointing. I want them to be hungry. Talking with the baseball team when they failed to get to Omaha in 2022. Talk about how that, step back, put that season into perspective and what that season was. It's not a disappointing season, but it is nice to hear the guys that play the game, that compete, say it is.
Yeah.
No matter what we recognize as fans. It's nice to hear that. And like they weren't, I said it was disappointing not to reach Omaha, but I'm not disappointed in the season. They're like, no, like this is a disappointing season. Because that's what you strive to win championships, strive to have the ability to win championships. But yeah, I get there's a lot of frustrations with maybe the way the QB position was handled. And I get that. And I struggle with, I don't know if I've said on this show, but I'm very much I'll default to a coach because they know much, much more than I do. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what they see. And this is what I see. And help me explain or help me understand. And one mark I'll give Josh Heupel is that he did start Joe Milton over Hendon Hooker. I'll give him that mark. However, when Hendon Hooker proved to be the better quarterback, he stayed with Hendon Hooker. That's not just through 2021. He started Hendon Hooker in 2022.
Yeah.
To relate that back to something Tennessee fans have seen, Butch Jones with Josh Dobbs comes in 13, looks better than your other two quarterbacks. Comes in 14, he's still third string. And he doesn't start again until injuries later in the season. And then finally wins it in the fall in 15. But we saw it twice before he was like, and so I'm not saying Josh Heupel was right in what happened in 2021, but we saw him kind of correct a mistake. He could have made a mistake, not either. Maybe Nico was better than him the whole time. I don't know. I haven't seen enough. I do know Nico never came in and it was just like, oh, wow, he's better than Joe. I do know that.
Yeah. And maybe like you could also argue he probably didn't get the opportunities to do that, and
that's fair. That would be a fair argument to what I just said.
Yeah. But no one's playing better than Joe did yesterday.
No, from everything I've seen, he played well. You told me he went off. I thought Landon texted me. I didn't get to watch much of the game. Had to leave the tailgate early due to an emergency. Very unfortunate. Didn't get to watch as much football as I would have liked to yesterday. It was a fun rivalry day. I got to catch the back end of it. Really thought I was going to get to see Alabama get up. I mean, upset is definitely a word you would use. I think you go farther than that. Yeah. And I know weird things happen in rivalry games, but still would have been nice. But yeah, I texted Landon just something about the game, and he was like, Joe went off, and I was worried that maybe Joey Boots was on the Jumbotron dropping some F-bombs or something, and I was like, oh gosh, what happened? I had to go check the box score there.
He probably
was. But yeah, that's yeah. I mean, listen, played out. Maybe they scored a little bit more than you would have liked to see, but bulk of their points came in. More than 50% of their points came in the fourth quarter. What are you gonna do?
I mean, Shane Beamer would have been all over.
Shane Beamer won that game.
Post-game press conference. Yeah, he would have been like, we outscored him in the fourth quarter. So we technically won the game.
Yeah, and on the Alabama note, I would like to mention that and Landon might have. He likes to just send some. Landon sends some tweets that I'm not brave enough to send. But I made the comment last night that I would really, really like to see Alabama lose. Like, would love it. And I was rebutted with, well, they whooped us. And I was like, well, yes. And I wouldn't publicly like tweet and laugh at them. But like for my own personal enjoyment, I would very much like Alabama to lose because I know they lost to Auburn, who the previous week lost to New Mexico State to the tune of 1.5 million or whatever it was.
I love it when you tweet something like that and somebody replies like, well, Alabama beat you. And it's usually a stupid Georgia fan.
Usually, yeah. And
while where did you come from? And
while that stands true that Alabama did beat Tennessee, had Auburn beaten them, that also would have stood true.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things like, are we just having a fact off here? Like what's
yeah.
Georgia probably has the most moving violations in the country. I don't like what are we gonna get at here?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, if somebody has more, I'd like to know about it because that's
honestly, that's a cover up. If I've ever heard of a cover up.
Yeah, I need to hear more about this. This needs to be tweeted by On 3 Sports and not just Jalen Milroe saying, "Give me the MF and Heisman."
That was hilarious. By the way, that's funny. That's objectively funny.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, I didn't know he was in the hat.
If he gets invited to New York, that should be a dub for him because of that video. Because I feel like the Heisman committee's like, you know what? Well, I wasn't even considering him. So if he gets brought to New York, that's a dub in his book.
I know he's played a lot better, but we can't ignore the fact that he was also benched early in the season for somebody else.
Yeah, which again, I think I said this at the time. I don't remember how I phrased it, but like all-time chess move for Nick Saban to his fan base to start Buckner and play Simpson, barely escape USF and be like, I know what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like he coached against himself that game just to prove a point.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know. Like, I might give that guy too much credit. But he's also so old and still like moving pretty well that let's go ahead and verify and confirm that he did sell his soul to the devil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one else does that. No one else wins that way. Tennessee would definitely find a way to lose that game, but they would never win it.
Yeah. Speaking of other disappointments too from yesterday, I want to get into this Vanderbilt game and kind of get your thoughts and pick your brain. Maybe have Joey Boots go off since I kind of expected him to. But another disappointment that I just haven't gotten to do yet, and I'm going to do after this show, I've not got to see the fallout from Michigan beating Ohio State on Reddit yet.
Mm.
And that, for me, for that game, for a guy that's not got a dog in the fight in terms of, like the hate that exists in that rivalry, I was very excited. Do what?
You should just call Ross Givet. He'll give you the scoop.
There you go. Get him on the show. Send him an invite. But I had no real interest.
Used to talk Michigan football with that man.
It was a dub though, because Ohio State wins. I would have loved to hear all like the you can only win when you cheat, that stuff from them. And then if Michigan won, which they did, it's going to be the like, we don't need to cheat to beat you. You guys are salty. That's why it was discovered, like all that crap. So very exciting. They did it for Jim Harbaugh, rip in peace. But I guess if he doesn't do the Undertaker entrance for the Big Ten championship, he is a cowardice prick.
Yeah.
He's got to come back from the dead.
Did you see where they marked Urban Meyer's the M off his
Fox
name?
did?
Yeah. I thought that was.
Yeah.
That was
I feel like that's an
also,
Urban Meyer move.
Next time you say, I think Ohio State's going to win, don't you ever go against me.
There was a good conspiracy on Reddit that said Urban Meyer was advanced scouting for Ohio State previous weeks when he was on the Michigan sidelines for games and talking.
So
with
he's
Michigan
lost his
staff.
stuff too.
I guess because they were cheating and they still didn't win.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Sad to see, isn't it? I was hoping he'd get hired.
Reminds me of the Jeremy Pruitt era.
I was hoping Urban would be. That's another guy. I told you, I know Kirby Smart would not leave Georgia to A&M. People are still going to respond to this and say you're an idiot if you think Kirby Smart was going to A&M. I'm not saying Kirby Smart was never going to A&M. I think I made that clear. If I'm the AD at Texas A&M, I am putting a blank check in front of him. They have that money, and I'm write whatever number you want. It'll cash.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. We just guaranteed Jimbo Fisher. We'll guarantee
they opened the floodgates with this whole buyout that, and I know we got to get to Vanderbilt.
It's not even a buyout though at that point. It's just we're going to pay you whatever you want, no matter what happens.
No, I'm saying like they did this with the buyout with Jimbo Fisher that like they understand that Texas A&M has this infinite amount of money.
And they do. It's literally it comes from the ground. It's oil money. It's
they just print it.
Kill some more dinosaurs. We'll get it.
But the fact that they went and tried to get Mark Stoops, they're like, why are we going to get a coach as a losing record in the SEC? Why do we not? I think that was the backlash that you're getting with Texas A&M fans.
And the Mark Stoops one, while dumb, I think he would have been better. And I don't know how much better, maybe marginally better, than Jimbo Fisher. He was better at Kentucky than Jimbo Fisher was at A&M.
Okay, so they're climbing.
They're climbing. The next,
the
the $150 million check wouldn't have worked, but that $200 million check was gonna work.
Yeah.
And but yeah, you said with the buyout thing, I don't know how buyouts work, but I mean, I don't think they're usually the full price of a contract. So it wasn't even really a buyout. It was just, hey, it was a guaranteed contract. It was $100 million guaranteed no matter what happened. I mean, if the world had ended, I think Jimbo still had a bank account he could have drawn from to get that money.
Yeah.
I don't know though for sure. Don't quote me on that. That's not a fact, but it may be.
And I'm also, I guess they retracted their offer, but Mark Stoops would be dumb not to take that. Just to be like, I can literally suck and still make a lot more money than if I won 10 games at Kentucky every 10 years.
Do you want praise or money? It depends on the person, because that man has been put on a pedestal. He's almost ahead of Calipari now, isn't he? Not in every Kentucky fan's eyes, but like in the like Kentucky athletic department's eyes, right? Didn't Mitch Barnhart kind of side with him? Am I wrong? Austin White, where you at? Give me in. Let me hear your side. Because Calipari owns that state, but I think Mark Stoops might own Calipari. They said build a statue for him. Does Calipari have a statue? Nothing earned. Or sorry, nothing given, everything earned, or whatever his son has tattooed on his chest.
Those are two ugly statues, I know.
All right, we're gonna get into this was a rant. Guys, this is a great way to close out the regular season.
We were going to get to this anyway. We just started with it.
Exactly. Before we do jump in, that was just the prelude to the show. We haven't even started yet.
Right. We didn't even press record.
That'd be hilarious. We've never, ever recorded an entire episode and not pressed record. That's never happened in the history of this podcast. No. I think it's only happened once, actually, hadn't it?
I think it did. Yeah. And it was, I think, with a guest.
Oh, then maybe it's happened twice. It happened really early on where we packed up everything, started to walk out. And I was like, we did not record any of that. And sat back down and did it again.
I think it was with Ollie Lane.
Then it's happened twice. Then it's happened twice. Anyways, before we get into the show, Underdog is Knoxville's best sports collectible store with a wide selection of UT cards, autographs, and memorabilia. Aside, like the cadence of that was weird because the sentence should have ended, but I didn't end it. All right. Shout out to Underdog Collectibles. They are they brought the show to you. Underdog is Knoxville's best sports collectible store with a wide selection of UT cards, autographs, and memorabilia. Whether you're looking for a Peyton Manning autographed helmet or the most recent Topps baseball card release, you'll find it at Underdog. The shop is owned by UT graduates and proudly supports UT sports by hosting NIL events throughout the year. Stop by the 640 Plaza at 4452 Western Avenue in Knoxville. They're open 6 days a week with live YouTube shows 3 nights per week. Remember, always bet on the Underdog. Thank you, Underdog Sports. Shout out. Dude, I feel like I get worse and worse at that ad read, and that shouldn't be how it goes.
Yeah. It's fine.
Also, the proudly supports UT sports. That is a mouthful. I'm not dogging your ad read, Underdog, because sometimes it doesn't do what?
Too many S's.
Yeah, I'm not dogging their ad read. Sometimes I blow through it. I do fine, but sometimes it really it gets me, trips me up. Okay, Vanderbilt,
you suck.
Vanderbilt's bad, and Clark Lee's a baby back. You fill in the blank. Hey, if you come on the field, do what Eli Drinkwitz does and stand on your business.
Yeah.
Eli Drinkwitz
would have been nowhere near the middle of that football field yesterday.
Eli Drinkwitz also claims that Arkansas only wanted to fight, which is just a funny thing to come out of a football coach's mouth, because almost every football coach every single football coach in their career has instilled in their team that they're going into a fight and they need to be ready. Mm-hmm. So it's just,
I like when they call it a street fight.
It's street fight. It's dog fight.
Whatever street fight.
Yeah. It's a legal street fight for 60 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not good. I mean, it just seemed like when Tennessee went up 14-7, like that's all Vanderbilt wanted to do was cause problems. And I know like Tyler Barron was part of it a little bit, but I mean, when somebody comes after you, what do you expect them to do?
I mean, I didn't get to really see it. I saw the kind of that.
Somebody's come
out
like
from it.
a big lineman come after you and start swinging on you. What do you do? Just run?
Yeah, then
No.
you're probably fighting. I do
You
like
stand on business.
you stand on business. I do like FSU's response to Florida that just they kind of laughed at their 15-yard penalty. I don't know if you saw that. Dude spit on him.
Yeah.
And he just kind of laughed as the 15-yard penalty and that dude's ejection came. But Tyler Barron's maybe a little bit different. It was a little
I would love to
the
get
fight
to
had
the
already
point-
started.
Like if I'm Georgia and I'm Kirby Smart, you get to that point where you're just like, dude, if anything like that, you're out. We don't need it. Like you get a
Yeah.
15-yard penalty, you fumble my football, you run a mile, like that's like you're out. Like we
How
have
many
another
feet are in a
5
mile?
Yeah, we have another 5-star behind you. But like Tennessee doesn't have that luxury where they're just like, hey, if you're a moron, we can get somebody else in your place.
I mean, no. In fact, in the previous 4 years, our best defensive player was, in fact, that moron.
That's true. Yes, it was. That's Joey Bush's favorite player.
It is. He's got his autograph and everything.
Yeah.
The only jersey he wears.
33. But man, hey, I don't think anybody booed. I wasn't in the stadium when they were doing all the senior day.
God dang it, Landon.
I was cleaning up, man.
I respect you had to pull some double work for me, and I appreciate it.
No, it's fine. I was nervous that thing on the back of your car.
Wouldn't go back on him or something.
No. It was fine. Just like
Oh.
backing up and just not knowing, like I guess how
Where
big it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So I'm just like, I was just creeping. And like when I got
I'll
home,
hear someone if I hit him.
Yeah.
Whoa.
yeah. And then, like when I got home, I was like back up and I'd put it in park and run back there to see how much space I had. And then get back in and try to go more.
Nah, I still mess it up, and I usually just deal with it. I usually fall short. I'm not just like running into people's stuff and dealing with it. You usually come up short.
Yeah, better safe than sorry. But man, what a job by Joe on senior day.
Yeah.
You know, you want to see that throughout the whole season, that consistency. You didn't get it, but I mean, he had 6 touchdowns. He had a career high, 383 yards. Should have gone for over 400 if we didn't have some drops. But, yeah, probably as good as a game as you could get from him. And I don't know exactly what it is that just – I don't know, maybe because he beat Vanderbilt before. It was just like the confidence level was just through the roof going into it. I don't know.
I think Vanderbilt's also – and this is going to be odd.
They're
I
bad.
think they're bad, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're bad.
But he has struggled with bad teams.
That's fair. That's a good point.
So, I mean, he took care of business. And, you know, I think Vanderbilt was trying to take the runaway and make Joe beat him. I will say this for Vanderbilt. That's kind of ballsy for you to be that bad on defense and then try to take something away just to open up something else. Like, I don't think you're good enough to do that.
Yeah, that's probably accurate.
But they kind of left the middle of the field open, and Tennessee kind of feasted on it. They did with their tight ends. Ramel Keaton had a big day. Squirrel White had 10 catches, over 100 yards. So, you know, I guess Vanderbilt sold out and didn't pay off.
I like the I mean, obviously going for over 100 yards is awesome, but look at the box score. I just like that Squirrel White got targeted a bunch. I feel like I don't think enough has been said about losing Brew McCoy and losing a guy that's been your I don't know, like your go-to, your outlet, your I guess like your panic button guy, like, all right, where are we going now? It's going to be Brew. I feel like Squirrel's probably was your best receiver after that. Just unfortunate for Ramel, who just didn't have the season you wanted him to have overall. I feel like Squirrel White was probably your best guy. And I know he's not big like Brew, but I just feel like we didn't go to him and try to go to him enough.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit early yesterday. Had some drops, but he still ended up with like 760 yards. And yeah, you probably have a lot more of that. You don't have some drops. Quarterback play wasn't there all season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Tennessee has some playmakers. I think you want to add a couple more. at the receiver position, but they have some in Squirrel White. I think Chaz Nimrod, Caleb Webb seem to be coming along each and every game that they get in. I especially like Chaz Nimrod.
Yeah.
I think he could be good.
I don't know how you and those guys are good. They're not the type that Brew McCoy was.
No.
And I really like having a bully on not only on the field on our side he's wearing your team's colors on the field. I would like to, I don't know if we figured out cloning or not, because he was a Juwan Jennings-esque dog, but he's also fast. He's a lot, nothing to hate, no hate against Juwan Jennings. He played pretty fast on the football field. Pretty
I
fast.
think you have a mold of what kind of you want in that guy, and you go get him out of the transfer portal and you put number 15 on him.
You don't want 3 of those guys, but you need one.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have 3 of them, you're probably getting a 15-yard penalty every now and then. So, Jalen Wright, it looked like he wasn't going to get to 1,000, but ended up getting there. And man, what a season he's had!
He's like right at it, isn't he? Then he just hit it.
13 yards over. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess I know I said Thursday. If he rips off that one run, he would have. I guess he just would have gotten it. I was thinking he would have been right at it. Okay.
Yeah. So 137 carries, 1,013 yards. That's 7.4 yards
That's
per carry.
Insane. That has to be one of the best 1,000-yard seasons in Tennessee history in terms of yards.
Well, I mean, the last one you had was Jalen Hurd, who was 277 rushes for 1,285 yards. That's 4.6 yards per carry.
Which is a pretty good freaking 1,000-yard season too.
Yeah, exactly. And Jalen Wright averaged 6.8 yards per carry yesterday. It took down his average.
If it doesn't take me too long, just while we talk about this Vanderbilt game, because I unfortunately don't have a ton of input, I'm gonna see if I can find the other ones that we have, because some really good running backs in Tennessee history, but
7.4. There's no way.
I don't think there's anything close to it.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's won it by a mile. I think there's going to be a lot in the Jalen Hurd range, but probably most of them are even less than that.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurds is really impressive.
Yeah, and it kind of helps that, Tennessee does spread them out. So those good running backs that you had in the 90s.
Yeah, it was a different game for sure.
Yeah. It was just hard to get those kind of yards.
Absolutely.
But also, like, that was a different kind of back then too. Like, you weren't having guys usually that were running 4.40s that could carry the weight that some of them did. So we'll see what Jalen Wright ends up doing. I expect him probably to go pro. I don't know how he can really. I just love everybody's argument when they talk about guys going pro. It's like, he can better their draft stock. Guys, he's a running back. And he just ran for 1,000 yards in the SEC. What else could he really do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who else was saying? The Cooper Mays thing. We talked about he wasn't going through senior days, so a lot of people were just like, yeah, NIL related. I don't think he just makes that decision just based off NIL.
No, I think NIL influences.
NIL
influences because he can get. If it was just about money, he's going to the NFL. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Yeah. But yeah, if he wasn't getting paid, he's going to the NFL. Mm-hmm. So I'm not naive to say that NIL is helping him stay, but I mean, he's still going to get paid more in the NFL.
Yeah,
more. I should say more than likely.
And like, if he comes back another year, I don't think it helps his draft stock. I mean, he's an undersized center. Like, how
it could, but I don't think you could just say it is.
Right.
And I mean, you got to factor in he's struggled with injuries. Mm-hmm. And I know this year was probably more of seemed like his injuries weren't necessarily football related, like necessarily like something that occurs in a game. So that's good for him that he doesn't have to necessarily worry about that specifically. But yeah.
But I don't think he makes that decision if he didn't think Tennessee could win football games.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think part of that is his belief in Nico. It's got to be.
So I think there's an element to that for sure, because obviously he sees a quarterback play. I think that's encouraging because I think that means he believes in where the program's headed as a whole.
Exactly. Yeah.
Trust Josh Heupel. He trusts Joey Halzle. Like he trusts those what's going on in the facility.
Yeah.
Real quick, the highest average per rush is 7.94. It was Hank Larcella. Now this does not apply to our 1,000-yard rusher category. It was 111 rushes for 881 yards in 1951.
Okay.
Also, minimum of 200. So there's another record holder, minimum of 200 rushes. It's Chuck Webb, 5.91. He rushed 209 times for 1,236 yards. That's a very impressive stat as well. Which Jalen Wright's gonna have one more game too to match that record. So
if he plays.
to build on his yards for the season. Yes, if he plays.
Defensively, I mean, I don't really have a lot more offensively. I do think you probably could have got Nico in earlier. Actually, I know that. This game wasn't close, even though Vanderbilt scored some garbage time touchdown. We did give him a freebie when D. Williams muffed a punt. But I just think like Joe had at that point, I think 5 total touchdowns. And then like I feel like you could have went Nico that next drive. You put him back out there, you go 3 and out. I'm just like, dude, like he has like the perfect game. Like, let's not let him do anything to screw it up. Let's just put Nico in. So I don't think you've seen enough of him. I would love to know the reason behind that the entire season where we haven't seen him.
Right.
Are we worried about like if he gets hurt, then it's just Joe? I don't know. I have no clue, why we're, not, just letting him go for it. And also on it's 4th down at like, I don't know, it's like a 30-yard field goal or something like that. It's 4th and 3. And we elect to kick a meaningless field goal? Like, why are we not just letting him just go for it? Get him another play.
The meaningless field goals have
that's been the worst part of this season.
it's been a point for some reason this season. I'm with you. It's not that's not been a fun part of the season.
And you missed the field goal, which I think that's why you kicked one later on in the game at the very end of the game, because you're like, oh, we want to get Charles Campbell, his last kick. You want him to get a made field goal.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't understand some of that. But offensively, I mean, you put up 600 yards. It's hard to really complain about too much. The offensive line is kind of in pieces. You have really no clue who you're going to get at any single game.
Yeah.
It's just kind of pieced together by, Band-Aids and whatever else you can find.
Yeah, I hope we don't have too many. Speaking of that, I hope we don't have too many guys trying to sit for the bowl game, because this roster will be interesting for the bowl game if that's the case.
Yeah. Extra thin.
Yeah. Which, I mean, depending on how you look at it, we may just need the experience. I don't know.
Yeah. And defensively, it was rough start. I mean, I tweeted, I was like, well, the defense thinks it's senior skip day. So just rough way to start. But
Landon, don't worry. Landon booed everybody you wanted to boo. Don't worry. He did.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. No, I'm really not a yeller. I'm more of just like, what the hell was that kind of person. Yeah, defensively, you got after AJ Swan. I mean, poor guy. I'm sure he's not doing well today. I wouldn't if I was in his position. But yeah, just kind of got beat up. Pressure got to him, and Vanderbilt didn't really have a go-to guy,
right,
to really get the ball to. They ran the ball well at times, but I think a lot of that is just like Tennessee is just thin. I mean,
yeah,
we had a walk-on play 69 snaps at star position. And Will Brooks, I want to give him credit.
Yeah,
He
the
did have
leading
a
tackler.
leading tackler. He looked pretty good, but Jesus. And I'm going to start with this. Why in the hell? I don't care if it's senior day. Why in the hell is Jalen McCullough playing 69 snaps? This is his last game. Why can't we just get somebody else in there? I mean, Ricky Gibson played 39 snaps, I think. I thought he played well. I thought he was probably your best cover guy at times. But man, I just don't get some of the Andre Turrentine. He's a redshirt sophomore, so I guess that's kind of a young guy, but he played 69 snaps. Why are we not getting some guys some reps? You know, I don't know what the redshirt situation looks like if you wanted to preserve some of them, but my God.
Yeah. I mean, personnel is definitely an interesting thing about this season.
Touchdowns. What are we doing?
Don't be mad, Len. It's
I know.
nothing to be mad about now.
Yeah, it's just the same thing. Just keeps happening.
Who allowed Landon to start talking about the defense? That was our first mistake.
Yeah.
Like, just that was dumb of me. I should have just totally tried to.
I do love the edge rushers on this team, and I hope you're able to keep everybody on this roster that had an impact. Because I really like Joshua Josephs. I really like James Pierce. I think those two are going to be a force in this league. And I was kind of doing some research. James Pierce didn't really play a whole lot, if hardly any, last year. I think he finished with 8.5 sacks this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more than Byron Young did.
Yeah.
And Byron Young is starting in the NFL.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I know that team's pretty underwhelming, but his name's called pretty often.
Yeah. Yep. Kind of anything else with? Well, let's do guys who impressed. I guess you didn't.
I don't want to like box score do it. So you tell me.
Okay.
Because I unfortunately was also busy today and have not gotten to rewatch.
Yeah. We talked about Will Brooks. I thought he, played well enough, given the circumstances of. I don't think a lot of people saw him as much of an impact guy going into the season, but he's kind of been forced into it and holds his own. Jeremiah Thielander. I kind of want to know, like, going back to the personnel is like, why is he not played more? I mean, he looks good, and he's a tackling machine guy. Like, offenses that want to try to run the football on us, and he had a pass deflection. We talk about how our linebackers are not good in pass coverage. He seemed fine to me. I think he's going to be really good, in his Tennessee career. Tight ends. Hey, we got them involved. And I think they've had good years. Now I know you're like, well, they've only had like 12 catches, but I think they ask them to do a lot. They play a lot, but I really like those two, especially McAllen Castles. I think he's a dude. I wish we could have had him for a couple more years.
Right.
But that throw that Joe made to McAllen Castles is a really good throw for that touchdown. Wasn't an easy throw to make, but a really good one. So I like the tight ends, getting them involved. I thought they impressed. Joshua Josephs, I kind of thought he looked good and played quite a bit. Tyler Barron's good. He's really good. But, man, can we stop having him line up offside? Like, what is that?
The funny thing is, someone else mentioned that to me yesterday, and the first thing I said was, are we back to last year? I feel like last year he lined up offsides a lot, too.
I mean, does he need a smaller helmet? Is the top of his helmet? Is that what's, getting over the ball? Or I don't know what it is. Like, Dabo Swinney has his own, like, get back coach. Can we not get – or Brent Venables, sorry. has his own get back coach. Can we not have a get back coach for the actual field of play?
Fair.
I mean, we have 85 support staff on the sidelines. Somebody can't just be like, hey, Tyler, get back. I don't know. I just think that's an easy fix that we just refused to fix yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked by that happening.
Yeah. But yeah, good to kind of put Vanderbilt in their place. And man, I just hate them. I mean, what a crap show by that team. And by the officials.
Yeah,
Let's talk about people who did not impress. The officials did not impress once again. So good on them for showing consistency throughout the entire year. You consistently suck.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. I'm actually going to tweet that guy right now because I was really hoping to hear this conspiracy. That guy that tweeted me that told me he'd have someone DM me has yet to do so. Okay. So, I would like to hear why the SEC is punishing Tennessee via the refs. I'd like to learn that.
Yeah. How do we get 2 personal fouls when all of Vanderbilt left the sidelines? That makes 0 sense to me. I don't know. It was just something that was brewing for a couple plays before that, and it just kept getting worse and worse until that happened. And
you got to get under control.
Yeah, should have put the end to it and didn't, and that's what you got and had to get. I mean, we had the police were involved, and we got
they called the cops.
Yeah. I'm not like, I know it's different from domestic violence, but I do know when the police are called a domestic violence, somebody's getting arrested.
Yeah, not necessarily. You just can't stay. They're not going to let you stay in that home tonight. They're going to ask a family member or friend you can stay with. Yeah. If you choose to press charges, you will be charged, but that kind of deal. I just got, I told you today, I tweeted about it. Like, what happened in Kentucky in 2017 that everyone on the field got a blanket personal foul? Like, well, at least, and I would have been pissed because Tennessee, nowhere near the entire team left the bench. They should have been issued it. It's similar to Kentucky in 17 when we got that and when the other team came on the field. But, like, you couldn't even do that?
Yeah.
And also, after the Kentucky 17 game, we also found out they can just go to review and mark down everyone that left the bench. Also, there was a basketball team that, I can't remember what schools they were. Like Robert Morris, maybe, and someone else.
Oh, yeah.
They had to finish the entire second half, just each team with who was on the court, because everybody left the bench, and you're immediately ejected in college basketball if you do that.
That's awesome.
Which begs the question, why do you ever leave the bench? I don't know. Well, I get it for Vanderbilt. You're not punished. They also had I told you, I couldn't tell if he was a staffer or just like a player in street clothes. I will say this, it's rare injured players travel. So more than likely someone who is paid by the university, and he threw a punch. And I don't recall that he was escorted off the field.
Yeah. What is that moron fighting about? Like, you had nothing to do with anything. And here you are. It's just.
And like, the funny thing is,
they were ready to go home. They did
more
not
than
want to
likely
play anymore.
A grad assistant, and it's hilarious that he's probably getting his school paid for, and he gets to just throw a punch on TV and nothing happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. So we'll see if they rewatch it and who gets what. But
I hope they don't, because somehow we're going to come out on the.
Yeah. It is going to be funny whoever Vanderbilt opens up with next year if they have like half their team. That would be hilarious. Because they are, in fact, not going bowling. Oh,
really?
SEC play. Yeah.
You don't think they might get in if not enough teams are bowl eligible?
Maybe. They're on the bubble.
Yeah, for sure. Breaking news: Fourth and Truth is back.
They
saw a. Now I can confirm that they saw a Dylan Sampson Instagram post, and if there's anything I know about young people who post on social media, everything they put is it's the right word. There's always subtext to it. Like, there's always something going on. He put the is it Hold On, I'm Coming Home, the Drake song?
Oh, did he?
Is that the name of it? With a picture of him in a Tennessee uniform. And Fourth and Truth chose to use that as a reason that he is saying Dylan Sampson intends to transfer.
Interesting. Okay, well.
That is the only place that has been said. And then I saw the Dylan Sampson Instagram post. So now I am 100% sure that is where he got that. I thought he just made it up, so I guess that's better than just flat out making it up.
Yeah.
He at least decided that, college kids never tweet stuff that don't mean anything, but everybody else thinks they mean something.
It's so dumb because, like, even if he is kind of thinking about hitting the portal, which, like, what is it for? You were behind a guy who, and I don't get some of the running back, substitutions. I don't. But the guy had 86 carries for 471 yards, 7 touchdowns. He had 10 carries yesterday. Jalen Wright had 11.
Yeah.
You're behind a guy who averaged 7.4 yards per carry. Like, it's hard to really argue that I should be playing more than him.
I did just pull up Dylan Sampson's account just to see what else was tweeted. He doesn't have anything Tennessee related in his bio. I don't know if that's changed or not. He did post that picture in black and white, and we are looking at subtext. He also shared Squirrel White's Instagram post. He put "Love y'all boys," Jacob Warren and McAllen Castles, and then put over Jalen Wright's "My brother man, if anybody deserves it, him." And tag Jalen Wright. So it is very obvious to at least the guy at Fourth and Truth that he is intending to transfer, and he felt the need to say that. So
yeah,
I wouldn't understand it. I get there's probably some frustrations on his end. There's frustrations on my end for his lack of play, but he's the guy next year, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, dude, you're RB1.
Yeah.
I mean, where in America are you like a sophomore and you're RB1? There's not a lot. And maybe like, but maybe is the places where like those guys are like some of the best running backs in college football. And maybe Dylan Sampson is. I hope he is next year. But he wasn't better than Jalen Wright.
No, and I mean that's the thing is Jalen definitely deserved the bulk of the carries, and he got them. I still think maybe he should have played against or above some other people and should have had touches in games that he didn't, and that's a different story. It would just, and I mean that may not be the entire reason. If for somehow, some way, Fourth and Truth guesses it right, I would, I don't keep up with them. I don't know what their hit percentage is on this stuff. I'm gonna guess it's pretty low. But, if he's the only one to break that news and it hits, I'll give him his due. But guys, go ahead and be prepared. It's probably not true.
No.
So don't freak out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't have even talked about that. I just saw
it. It is rumor season officially now. So, like.
That's a good point. It's there's going to be some, it shouldn't be yet. We still do have one more Saturday of quote unquote normal college football. We still have championship Saturday. We wait till next Sunday to start this crap. And
it's already coaching search season, so you got to start the rumors.
Yeah, I understand Tennessee's not involved in this week, but can we just kind of enjoy a drama-free week where there's still consistent college football on the TV?
That would be nice.
Next week's fine. Have at it. You do what you want.
Yeah. It is what it is. You're going to lose some people you don't want to lose, probably. And here's the thing: is if they go out and ball out somewhere else, and they weren't playing those younger guys that they might lose in the portal, that's a mark on a coach.
Yeah, and I mean, there's gonna be, and people want Dylan Sampson on their team, and he's gonna point. Unfortunately, suitors are gonna be able to try to pretend like they're gonna be able to say that he's not going to be used or he wasn't used, and they're going to pretend that he's not going to be used next year. But the good news is he's in the facility, and the coaches can, they should be promising him RB1. And then also, hey, if this is a good time to remember, if you are not a part of the volunteer club, go ahead and join that because it's volunteer club season as far as Dylan Sampson goes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
time to make sure he knows he's needed here. Use our
You
affiliate
did the
link
same thing
while
with
you're at it.
Jalen Wright last year.
Yeah.
Jalen Wright was probably going to enter the portal and then, got his money, which was he earned it. I mean, he was the Jalen Hyatt from last year. You heard all off season, he's different. He's going to ball out, and he did just that. You don't really see that a whole lot, but Jalen Hyatt did it last year, and Jalen Wright did it last year. So who's going to be next year? That's a recruiting pitch.
Yeah, and the good news is whatever you gave Jalen Wright is going to be gone. So maybe pay that to Dylan.
Also, like, you were a part of, 10 wins last year. 11 wins, sorry. 11 wins. And 8 so far this year. You had almost 1,000 yards. It wasn't like Dylan Sampson didn't play.
Yeah, yes. I mean, definitely, but unfortunately,
he should have played more. He should have got more touches, especially after that Kentucky game. But
I just mean in the perspective of teams recruiting him, they can use that.
Yeah,
but hopefully he can be. Hopefully he can be shown kind of really how this season played out. I don't really have an excuse for, like you just mentioned, the lack of touches in the Missouri game. But yeah, I mean, he's running back 1.
Yep. We do have some questions. Matt Roberts says, does Jalen Wright, Mr. 1,000, come back next year or turn pro? If I were a betting man,
he's going pro.
I would say going pro. So yeah, and good for you. I mean, I'm cool with that. You go out and ball out and earn an NFL contract, go take it. Also, we got a question. Why do we kick meaningless field goals in the fourth quarter?
Shut up. I'm not answering that question. I don't know. Shut up. I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying shut up. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, no idea. I guess we're just making sure that we're scoring points. I don't know. I don't know the reason. It's so dumb. It's laughable at this point.
Yeah.
It was annoying the first couple of times, but now it's just laughable. Yeah. Ronnie Feld says, who would y'all like to see in a bowl game?
Anyone but the Big Ten, but I got bad news.
Yeah, if it's the Gator Bowl, I think, a lot of projections are North Carolina. Now, they lost this past week, so we'll see if anything is kind of shuffled there. But, yeah, a little revenge on North Carolina bowl game wouldn't be the worst thing. Now, I don't know if I want to face Drake May, but whatever. Right. They did lose to Virginia. We beat Virginia by a lot.
That's a good point. I mean, hey, we pretty much already won that ball game.
Mm-hmm. He also says, do you think Nico should start the bowl game? If it's anything like the rest of the season, he's not. So.
And I'm in the position of who gives you the best chance to win, and you said it. Joe played good yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's not. So, and it's not about the red shirt anymore. That has nothing to do with anything. So yeah, it doesn't count. So yeah, I would bet on Joe, but I would like to see Nico. I just want to see him play a little bit. He looks fine when he's in. He looks like he doesn't look, like deer in the headlights, but he isn't really given an opportunity to actually just run the entire offense and have meaningful snaps. It's in garbage time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to do with the quarterback position. I mean, it seems time to move on, but I truthfully just don't even really know. So,
yeah. Also, the whole not playing some of these young guys, I'm kind of getting tired of these emails I get for give to NIL, and we give money to give to NIL to give to these freshmen coming in, and then we don't play them for 2 years, and then they go somewhere else. Well, why did I give you money?
Well, first off, again, just in case Fourth and Truth is right, Landon, give and you shut your mouth.
Yeah. Give.
This is gonna be the one time the guy's right, and you're gonna be on here laughing about it.
Yeah. Whatever. If he is, I guess you're gonna save money to pay somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly, I just don't even care now.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to college. We kind of discussed college football already, but we'll discuss some games. We got the Egg Bowl on Thursday where you kind of talked about it. Because I forgot we did a show on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah. Hey, content don't sleep.
Never sleeps. I mean, just not Michigan and Ohio State was a good game. I did say going into that game, I was like, J.J. McCarthy is better than Kyle McCord. And that was the difference in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I didn't get to watch.
Appreciate Michigan making me look like I know ball. So.
Yeah, Dylan, shut your mouth.
Yeah, Dylan.
Not Sampson. Dylan Sampson, you say whatever you want.
Yeah, Dylan Bloom. You obviously do not know ball.
Tweet him.
Even though you are winning like the bets, but
tweet him on your bets.
You're really good at clicking right, but you don't know ball.
I'll give you your due, Dylan. You don't say that. I mean, hey, a good rivalry week. You had some upsets. You had Kentucky beating Louisville. Shout out former Texas A&M coach Mark Stoops. I think you said Florida was going to be, or you maybe not was going to be, but you said you could see them beating Florida State. They jumped out to what, a 13-0 lead? 12-0 lead.
Yeah, it wasn't my fault. They just forgot how to play football in the second half.
Exactly. Shane Beamer just gave, South Carolina fans were ready to crown him daddy, which is kind of interesting. And then got beat by the two teams that they were really happy about beating last year.
Dude. Okay, let's talk about that play. What I was
wait, which play?
The fourth down.
Oh, in the Alabama game.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, I missed the play in the Clemson game. Okay.
Oh no. So I'm explaining this to my wife. I wish you could be a fly on the wall because she probably doesn't understand a word I'm saying. Maybe she does. Maybe
I explained yesterday. I felt like that. I was like, why am I even talking right now?
Yeah. I was like, all right. I'm going to show you this video and I'm going to explain how dumb it is. So she watched it. She's like, okay. And I'm like, so you give him all day to throw. He can just throw it wherever he wants to. But if you go get him, he has to hurry up, probably make a throw he doesn't want to make at that exact time. She's like, okay. I'm like, so we have a linebacker two linebackers just standing at the line of scrimmage. Here's one thing. Linebackers, you're probably not catching Jalen Milroe in the open field.
Also, if he runs there, who cares?
Yeah. Have the other 10 guys that are in the end zone to go tackle him. Why the hell are we quarterback spying on 4th and 31? Oh my gosh. That defensive coordinator should be fired. Burn at the stake, because that is the dumbest decision. I mean, that was like Florida in 2017 dumb.
Yeah.
You go prevent, it doesn't happen.
Prevent, what is it? Prevent you from winning?
Yeah, God.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. And I mean, listen, say what you want, but it won Jalen Milroe the Heisman.
Yeah, what a freaking moron. I guess, like, in that moment, you probably say a lot of stuff you don't mean after you just win that game and emotions are high. But
yeah, but do you say that? Yeah. Is that what you utter?
Yeah, probably not.
I have no problems with Jalen Milroe. I still don't I don't have a hate for him other than that he's Alabama's starting quarterback. Like, I don't think he hasn't seemed to be obnoxious yet, and I won't put him on for the reasons you stated in terms of like emotions right after the game. I won't, but that was incredibly just silly and stupid to say. And then especially if you get embarrassed next
Yeah,
week
give
by
me
the
that
Georgia team.
number.
You got it. Do you understand? You barely beat Auburn, who is not good, and that's a nice way of putting it. You have to play the best defense in the country next week, and like you just handed Kirby, who doesn't need bulletin board material.
Yeah, this team just lost 31-10 in New Mexico State. On paper, New Mexico State right now is thinking they could beat Alabama,
That's a good point.
which probably
could.
would think they could beat us. Which, hey, New Mexico State, you want to settle this? We will.
We're not paying anyone ever again.
No,
just in
this is a
case.
neutral site. You pay your own way. It'll just be at Neyland. Neutral site.
Neutral site. Y'all can wear home jerseys.
Yeah. You can be on the home sideline if you want.
God, I can't wait for someone to take us serious and be like, "Oh, scared to Mexico State." Shut up. Take a joke.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, that's just hilarious. I hate. Well, no. Yeah, I get to just root against Alabama. I guess I kind of have to root for Georgia in that scenario. I'm just rooting for Georgia's defense. Game finished 0-0. How about that?
Yeah. I just love that literally Auburn hired Hugh Freeze because he has a track record of beating Alabama. And he had it on a silver platter and just blew it.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about it being like Hugh Freeze. That would have been hilarious. I didn't think about that. I just thought about it being Auburn and not a good Auburn team.
Oh, dude. He would have been on the phone with so many hookers after that.
He would have driven back to Oxford to get his oldies going, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, the classics never miss.
The VIP. The
yeah.
reoccurring
Dude, Joey Freshwater knows where the good ones are at. He would have teamed up with a good crew.
Yeah.
Have you seen his girlfriend?
Yeah.
How old is she?
I think she's my age or younger.
I think she's younger than us. That's weird.
Yeah.
I get she is a consenting adult, but from a perspective
Well, it's like it's hard to think like, is that your girlfriend or like your daughter? Like that's when it's weird when like somebody might slip up that doesn't really think very much, but they're like, "Oh, like how's your daughter doing?" "Oh, that's my girlfriend." "Oh, good for you, man."
yeah.
Knuckles. Washington State, Washington. That was a ugly game, but Washington sneaks by. I mean, it just looks like they're going to get absolutely embarrassed by Oregon next week. The way that they're playing. Notre Dame Stanford play, Battle of the Nerds. It wasn't even close.
The ball game, sure. I don't know.
Yeah, Kansas State, Iowa State. Kansas State lost by 7. They were in a parlay of mine, so Kansas State officially hate you for the week. Yeah, not a lot. South Carolina isn't going bowling. That's hilarious.
Again, I'm not going to tweet about it.
In Tennessee and Clemson, if they won either one of those games, they would have been bowling, but they did not. So now, what does Tennessee and Clemson do during their bowl game? They just fly over a plane,
just around Columbia.
Yeah, just around campus.
Hey, I do know a good bowling alley in Columbia. If you guys need recommendations,
okay.
That's for the South Carolina. I mean, anybody, I guess, but mainly for the South Carolina football team who won't be any invitations to go bowling.
Yeah,
I know a place.
Man, I bet that tailgate that I stole food from last year.
They're really unhappy now.
Dude,
they weren't mad in that moment, but now they're mad.
I bet they had a lot of food left over, so I'm kind of disappointed I didn't get in on that.
Just go back to the Ohio State Michigan game real quick. I saw someone tweet about how the Big Ten sucks, so that game sucks. Maybe I'm alone. I know you supported me, but like that's a bucket list game as a college football fan. That game's always good and entertaining. Outside of like from a rivalry perspective, it is, but like I said it, like even in Michigan's worst years, like they would be competitive for an amount of time. Like it's sure not 60 minutes, but like they would make it a game. And Yeah, that's a bucket list game I'd like to go to, and I'm all for hating the Big Ten. You will not find me watching Michigan since they've been better, but even now they still play just not a fun brand of football to watch. So I'm probably not watching Michigan games. I'll watch some Ohio State games. Big Ten as a whole, miss me with that crap. But that game, the game. It's college football at its best.
Yeah, that'd be fun to go to. I also think,
and I'm clarifying, the Big Ten sucks. It's not fun. That game's fun.
I would love to have a rivalry this week, which means Tennessee would have, or this week, like this game, where it's like two like top teams, like back when it was Tennessee and Florida.
Yeah,
in the 90s.
Well, and Tennessee has that hate with Alabama, but the Ohio State Michigan hate is special. It's a different, like, there's a lot of hate in the SEC for other teams, but like their hate is, I think, because the other Big Ten teams are so irrelevant that's like the only, like, that's just how it's existed. I mean, and Michigan was kind of teeter-tottering on maybe losing some of that hate when, you know, Brady Hoke and Rich Rod days, like they almost let that hate slip from them.
That's who I think Texas A&M should go get, Brady Hoke.
I thought you were going to say Rich Rod. I was excited.
Either one. But
where's he at now?
Brady Hoke?
Hey, Brady Hoke's retiring. Don't make him come out of retirement for a $100 million check. Like, no one wants to do that. Just let the man go in peace.
Is he not still at San Diego State?
I think he's retiring after this year. I think this is last year. I think he announced that in all caps. Did you not hear him?
Oh, that's right. They beat Fresno State, so they sent him out with a win.
You think they carried him off the field?
God, I would have.
Before Jim Chaney was wearing like a 6X, Tennessee players did carry him off after he beat Kentucky as an interim.
Well, hopefully
we did. Tiny Richardson was on that team. Okay. I don't know if he carried him, but he was on that team.
Okay. Yeah, you have to have somebody like named Tiny on your roster. Yeah. You want to carry a guy like
absolutely.
That. Which he has lost some weight. He's not as big as he used to be.
No. He Jim Chaney?
No, Brady.
Oh, yes. I was going to say, I haven't seen Jim Chaney. I feel like once you get that big, there's really no going back.
Yeah, he's probably still that big.
Yeah. He's gonna be on 1,000 Pound Sisters soon. He's guest starring.
Yeah. He's I mean, he's living that retirement life, so yeah, I doubt he's lost any.
Yeah.
We should get on him. At that point, it's just like,
who cares? When you got money like that, who cares?
Yeah. Fat and happy.
Dabo to A&M would be hilarious, Ronnie. I hope. Again, doubt, like similar, not in the same vein, but similar to Kirby Smart, very doubtful. But would be funny.
I mean, he almost burnt the whole place down, and they went like 8-4. He would going to A&M would be his nightmare.
Yeah,
he doesn't like to answer to anybody, and he would have to answer to a lot of people at A&M.
Yeah, and I think I think what's gotten lost in Texas has all this money, both Texas and Texas A&M, is that there's no king who what he says goes. And I don't know when Nick Saban was crowned king at Alabama. I don't know if it was when he was hired or when he proved to be what he is. But somewhere along the lines, Nick Saban was crowned king, and he does not have to answer to boosters.
Yeah.
It's when you're answering not just to a booster, but boosters, that creates a bad culture and makes it very, very difficult to be effective, even if you're a good coach. Mm-hmm. So I think everything, like all the resources that Texas and Texas A&M have, the booster situation makes it complicated.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, Ronnie, he did say he'd go somewhere that they would appreciate him. If he thinks A&M would appreciate him, though, yikes.
Also,
there's a lot of Tylers from Spartanburg in Texas, brother.
All the jokes with him and the Yell Leaders would just be all time.
Oh yeah, that would be a clash of the Colts. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Which they went like from a basketball school to another basketball school to get Mike Elko, who used to be the OC at Texas A&M, and has been at Duke for 1 year. I mean,
And a good year, sure, but not
Yeah,
like an
but, like-
exceptional year, not a blank check year. You know?
right. Yeah. I just don't think with that kind of money, like that's the person you go after. It seems like Mark Stoops was their number one. Now, whatever happened, I mean, there was backlash, but I don't know. Like, was it boosters? Some of it was probably fan related, but it wasn't like Tennessee. And I know a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, it's kind of like the Tennessee thing." No, it's not. You did not live that nightmare of the planes and your AD going rogue, and then you hire a coach, a former head coach that was previously fired here as AD. We just had so much stuff going on. So good on A&M for I guess making that happen. But you do have a lot to learn about these coaching searches if you want to get really good at them, like we are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So.
I don't know that there was a groomer for a job, but I don't remember what job it was. I saw it right before we went live, or maybe when I saw a Dylan Sampson thing. So interested to see where these groomers lead.
Same account.
Bold of you to even put those out there. Yeah, I'm not a cancel culture guy. I'm not saying to be canceled, but like maybe think about what he sent in those emails. Just think about it. I'm not saying to, not talk to the guy, but just consider.
Yeah.
Because, like, correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't just calling Roger Goodell names, correct? It was more than that, right? Or was it just about Roger Goodell? Because then I take that back, but
Maybe.
I'd have to. You know what? Just don't ignore everything I said because I don't know enough about it. Clearly, sorry, I shouldn't have spoke about that.
Yeah. It's fun. It gives us something to talk about. So appreciate the adding content to the show, Coaching Searches. You make the world go round. Maybe for not great reasons, but you do. And we appreciate you. Kids are growing up now like wanting to be fired football coaches. They don't want to be like
Which I think is very smart.
Yeah, which I wanted to work at Little Caesars to smell the pizza when I was growing up.
Just to smell it, not to even eat it?
I mean, like, obviously I would eat it, but
Okay,
during work, you have to respect the work. You can't just pick out.
Wow, I can't believe Little Caesars didn't hire you. That is some high character right there.
Man.
Did you ever apply at all? Ever? Take a chance?
I just kind of stopped applying around here. I didn't
No
get
wonder
hired.
you couldn't reach your dreams, dude.
I applied for 2 jobs in South Knoxville and didn't get a single one. I didn't get
what are those two?
the car wash, the Zips car wash.
Okay.
Um,
Wasn't Zips at that point though, right? Something else?
Yeah.
Because it's probably I assume you applied for this job in high school, right?
Yeah, whatever
Okay,
whatever it was. And then Dunkin' Donuts when it was over by which is now
the sex store. Yeah.
Yeah, Romantic Escapades.
Yeah.
Yeah, went in there, didn't hire me. Went in there like a couple weeks, maybe months later. There's a dude with like these huge gauges in his ears, which is like I don't have a problem with, but like I didn't have that, and I guess that's what
could that have been the problem?
maybe I just should have got gauges. I would have got the job, but I will say that place went out of business, so you missed out. I would have brought a lot of business to it.
Speaking of not getting hired, I applied for a job at Sonic in high school.
Okay.
Did not get that job either.
Look at us now. Just with just South Knoxville rejects, just run the podcast.
I do go back to that day every once in a while because one of the employees at Sonic her entire underwear was hanging out. And I may have been caught laughing. It's just one of those things. It's like I didn't like cackle at it, but like I definitely like chuckled a little bit because I was like, that is hilariously absurd to see. And I may have been caught laughing by the hiring manager. I don't know if that's what they're called at Sonic, but may have been caught red-handed laughing at someone's underwear and or butt crack. So I kind of regret that, but I would still do that today. So I don't know if you could call that regret.
Yeah,
I'm a simple guy. I laugh at farts. Butt cracks are funny. I don't know.
There's nothing like some butt crack and mozzarella sticks.
Exactly.
That's funny. I didn't know that. There was one question that the guy asked me at the car wash. He's like, "What experience do you have?" I was like,
I can run a hose.
I mean, it kind of caught me off guard. I just thought like, this is a job they were looking for a high school person that could just spray. I mean, you drive through it like it's kind of self-explanatory.
I can line the hell up out of a car. Let me tell you, brother. I
Yeah.
can don't tell whatever you need.
Yeah.
I can tell them. I can tell them to neutral, turn off windshield wipers, put down the antenna. I can nail that.
But I've said, with football and baseball, I've worked a ton of car washes.
There you go.
I thought that was a great answer. Obviously not what they were looking for. So I don't know. I guess I was overqualified.
Listen, I landed at the peanut shop, so I have no qualms about Sonic. That's to this day, I still loved that job. Loved it.
Yeah, I ended up at Dollywood, so I had to drive like 30 minutes to actually get a job. And it was only because I knew somebody that also worked there. So, yeah. Hey, look at us.
Just who would have thought?
I mean, let's do a little most important. You got any?
Do I? I don't know. It's been a weekend, brother. I do have. I want to share that.
I'm going to go Dolly Parton and the Dallas Cowboys. I think we talked about it.
We've already talked about it. Your dad,
but it is the most important.
I hate to just
mention it again.
I hate to just put your dad on blast, but he came up to me. We were set up the tailgate. I don't know if you heard him. He goes, "What did you say about Dolly Parton on the podcast Thursday?" And I was like, "I don't know, man." I was like, I could have said a lot. And he's like, about her in the Dallas Cowboys jersey. I was like, I don't know what I said, but probably that she could get it. And he just started dying laughing. He's like, she's a good looking lady. And I was like, I mean, let me tell you, brother. So yeah, I think I don't know if your dad agreed exactly with what I said, but he agreed with some of it at least.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, Dolly's a fine lady. And people that were hating on it, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I don't really have any more most importance other than that. I mean, there's a lot of fails going on right now. It is the fail season, I think.
Yeah, very much so. Let me check these.
Ronnie said she would still get it. There you go.
Thank you, Ronnie. You're right. I think I actually respect this in its absurdity, but did you see, this is after we were off, Bo Wallace, former Ole Miss quarterback, going after the coffee house. I do respect it a little bit. You look insane, but he stands on his business.
Okay.
And if you missed it, there was a coffee house, I guess, either in Mississippi State or the operator of the account was a Mississippi
Strange
State
Brew
fan.
Coffee House, yeah.
And he was giving Bo Wallace a hard time. Bo Wallace went back and forth with this account, which is bold, and then told them to come meet him at his section, told where he was sitting, what seat. He did put up a picture of his girlfriend who got a lot of crap. Also, someone said, this is the fail. Someone said they give the best quarterback in Mississippi in Ole Miss history those seats. 2 fails. It's an away game. Also, not the best quarterback in Mississippi in Ole Miss history. I mean, how in the hell are we going to forget Swag Kelly? And then number 2, Eli Manning. And
Archie.
3. Swag Kelly's number 1. You can argue the rest. I do not care. But yeah, I think that's my fail, is that guy that called Bo Wallace the best quarterback in Ole Miss history. That's one of the dumber things I've ever heard.
Yeah. That is bold.
But I think
most of his wins get vacated, wouldn't he? Part of
probably.
That? Yeah.
And you, I know you had Bo as a fail. I know you look insane, but I think I respect the move.
Okay. Yeah, just going right for it. Yeah, I just love, like, you're fighting with a business. I understand somebody runs that account, but like it looks like you're arguing with a building, like in real time. That's funny to me.
Yeah,
It's like a
for
whole
sure.
building. Like, what if the whole entire like business, like all the employees came up to that section and just beat the crap out of Bo Wallace? Like he gets like 8
How many-
baristas just
and like,
knocking him out cold.
And it is a coffee shop, and as Landon knows from experience, at least one of those guys has gauges. But in my mind, I'm thinking all 6 of them have gauges. It would be a funny sight.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like small coffee shops, I feel like they either have an infinite amount of employees or they just like are always hiring. Like there's either like if you go in there 3 days in a row to a small coffee shop, it's always the same person working.
Mhm.
If you go in there like once a week though, it's always a different person working. So I don't understand their shifts, and I can't decide if it's an infinite amount of employees or if they just cycle through those employees that fast and they all just work like 48-hour shifts. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember that one of their questions, do you drink coffee? And I was like, well, no, I'm 16, 17 years old. No, I do
But
not.
also good news, Little Caesars wouldn't hire me because they thought I'd eat the pizza. You don't have to worry about that here.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to drink on the job. Yeah, I think that's the reason I never drank coffee. Is just I have a bad taste in my mouth from Dunkin' Donuts. And then that dude with gauges. No offense to him at all, but I thought maybe it would be more appealing buying a sugared coffee from me than him, but maybe not. I don't know.
Man, could have sold the hell out of some coffee.
Dude, I would.
Shout out to all the horny Vol fans on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I was scrolling through. I saw a girl that was a Tennessee fan on Twitter, and one of my favorite things to do is go and look at her replies.
Mhm.
And I saw that she posts what the young people would call thirst traps, and I was like, oh, I can't wait to see some of these. And this makes me sound creepy, and that's fine. I promise I do this for this reason, because I love their replies. They crack me up. So I just went through her media.
She's no Dolly Parton.
Oh God, no. So I went through media to like find her thirst trap pictures so that I could see the replies. There's one in June of her, I guess, going to the beach. I don't know. There were a lot of these. I just screenshotted my 2 favorites. The first one, I changed my crimson shirt to that Tennessee orange for a shot, just one shot. That was from at Ashland_pub. I'm outing these guys. Horny. That's actually a Alabama fan, but he's so horny he'd be a Tennessee fan. This one is from, I don't see the full app, but anonymous TN fan. He put, you should definitely wear this to the home opener. She's in a bathing suit, by the way. Go Vols. With the, like the orange, kind of looks angry face or just hot face with the sweat dropping down, like the tongue out. Yeah, just like a dog. He's a dog. Fire emoji, and then because he's a Tennessee fan, the orange emoji. So, dude, there is nothing like horny Tennessee fans on Twitter. They're crazy. They have just, I think some of them don't realize that you can like see who tweets things. Because like you go to their profile and they're like, I love my wife and 3 children, go Vols, and Jesus Christ, go Vols. And then they're just like, you can do whatever you want to me.
Yeah,
just one
dude,
shot.
so
Just give me one shot.
a couple years ago, Tennessee had a commit named Terrence Lewis. So people remember him. Well, like for content, I would like search his name on Twitter and it would pull up like Terrence Lewis. Well, there was this one guy named Terrence Lewis on Twitter, and all he would do, his whole Twitter account was, and it was like a picture of actually him, and he would just go on these thirst traps. It probably wasn't called that at that time, but it is now. And just comment like, oh, I would love to like get you in the back of my car, or like some like crazy.
That sounds like you want some murder.
Yeah, I mean, like he would go into detail of like what he wanted to do.
I would
these
love to
people.
choke you unconscious.
Yeah, he'd be like, just give me 5 minutes.
I would love for your family to file a missing persons report.
I would love to throw you in a ditch. Yeah,
People
I'll
are
never forget
insane.
Terrence Lewis.
Let's look up where Terrence Lewis is at because I am concerned.
I mean, that guy, he committed to us and decommitted, and that was part of that Jeremy Pruitt summer where he
Probably
just gave everybody money.
not the guy that was tweeting that stuff, to be clear.
No, not this guy. But thank you to that recruit because he led me to Twitter Terrence Lewis, where I got to see the horniest guy in America. So I do need to go see if Terrence
Potentially a
Lewis is
serial
still on
murderer.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to see if he's still on there.
One more most important I forgot to share last week, and I again don't love Texas A&M, but they put all walk-ons in for a kickoff at the end of their Abilene Christian game for one kickoff, and they forced a fumble and recovered it. Love that, dude. Let the walk-ons not only dream. That's their Rudy. They got their Rudy moment.
Dude, we got one starting for us.
True. We need to fake and lie that he got a tackle for a loss.
Yeah. Oh man. I wish I could find him. I don't see him.
I think that's okay.
Oh no, I have found him.
Send it in the group. I wanna laugh at these two. My last fail while you're laughing at our friend Terrence. MTSU. You guys know me. I love in-state schools other than Vanderbilt and Memphis. But MTSU guys, at the end of the game, they lose to, was it Sam Houston? I think it was. And they'd already lost, which is just like, don't fight when you lost because you just lose twice. But Sam Houston players did, I think, get in the quarterback's face after the game. And it resulted in an all-out brawl. One of the better brawls of rivalry weekend. And those schools I don't think are rivals. But yeah, not a good look for MTSU. You lost twice in the matter of minutes.
Yikes.
But it does bring up a good point. I've said I started this a couple years ago. I haven't put enough emphasis on it. I think the head football coaches of each team should come together at the end of the game and one coach can decide. It's mutual combat. So one coach can decide that he does not want to fight, but he gives up 7 points to the opposing team. So if you're winning by 14, you can say, no, I don't want to fight. And that's it. You can also, but if let's say you only won the game by 6, you essentially have to fight that coach and the winner gets 7 points.
Okay. I like that.
I mean, if I'm Josh Heupel, I'm fighting Jim Mora. I'm like, it doesn't matter if I win or lose. I'm getting the chance to whoop your ass. And Jim looks like a real coward if he goes, no, I don't want to fight. Sure, the points don't matter, but you go out there talking trash and Josh Heupel says he'll fight you, you have to fight him.
Yeah, I would love to see Josh Heupel beat the crap out of Shane Beamer and
That'd be fun.
Eli Drinkwitz.
I feel like Shane Beamer, though, is, and I don't know how good his karate is, but I feel like he's a weird guy who knows karate.
No,
and he's
the guy at the golf course that takes his shirt off and
probably is.
Call somebody a shit stack.
Probably. You're probably right. It's Eli Drinkwitz that's like,
oh yeah.
And I don't think he's good. He could be. Karate's a weird thing, but he's gonna like do the stuff to set up. Like he's
yeah. He wears camo cargo shorts, so yeah.
He's like, I got
some weird stuff.
He's like, I'll fight you, but let me change into these first.
Yeah,
it's my fighting pants. It's like a fighting necklace, which I didn't know for the longest time was PH.
Oh yeah.
I didn't play baseball. I didn't know. I knew what they were called.
Yeah. They definitely made me a better baseball player.
Were those sold at travel tournaments? That seems like a tent at travel tournaments.
100%.
Like they weren't even sold in stores, probably. Just
oh yeah. I mean, that was the first thing you paid to get in the tournament, and then you paid for a fight necklace. That's what you did. It was before the concession stand.
Love that.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, guys, hey, if you went to the game on Saturday, make sure to put in your Memento on the Memento app. They're a really good sponsor for us and a great app to kind of keep track of all the games you attend. It's a sports scrapbook. It'll tell you like how many games you've been to, how many teams, what teams you've seen. It's kind of keeps a track for you where you're not having to do that yourself and kind of add up, and especially with tickets not being paper anymore. So really good thing for that. and I went ahead and added mine earlier today. So do that if you haven't already.
Man, you're gonna pass me up soon. My inability to go to games. It's you're closing in. I
won't say I was almost made the joke. Yeah, this is my master plan to keep you off your game, but I would never take credit of what happened yesterday.
Yeah, that's fair. No one should want that credit. But just to mention, and not that I guess I was made it sound like you're probably going to that game, but is it Wednesday? I'm double checking before I say it. But if you're making the trip Wednesday to Chapel Hill, going to be a good one to knock off the bucket list. And Tennessee, North Carolina, top 15 matchup. It is not a 9 p.m. tip like most Tennessee's Wednesday SEC games. So excited about that as well. Hope I get to watch that game. We'll just see. So make sure you download Memento, and then hey, let's get ready because we went back till Thursday. So I just want to mention that game coming up. Not that we're surprising anyone with that information, but just feel like it needed to be said.
Yeah. We'll be talking about that game since and I'm sure there'll be some probably portal news and some other news going on. And then championship week, and then I guess at some point we'll find out our fate where we're going. I guess somewhere in Florida.
Yeah, next Sunday we'll find out, right? Yeah,
that's right. Are we going?
TBD. Probably not, if we're just being honest on my end. I would love for you to go. Yeah, let's start a GoFundMe to
see where it's
land into a game.
Your boy isn't too thrilled about going to Jacksonville, so
that's
no offense to people in Jacksonville. Hey,
I think most people in Jacksonville
biggest city in America, but
what?
Landmass.
In landmass, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Geography guy.
Yeah,
not a population guy. Just
no.
focus strictly on the Earth segment of it.
Yeah. We'll be back on Thursday. Have a great Monday. I know it's been a long kind of off week for some people, so Monday is going to be terrible. But hopefully you listen to this podcast and it'll help you out.
Yeah, I'll get it uploaded. Sorry about Friday. No one was driving into work, right?
No, not that day. That's all we got. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.